الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا ثم أما بعد. الإمام النووي رحمه الله تعالى يقول في باب حسن الخلق من رياض الصالحين, chapter on good conduct, رياض الصالحين, قال: وعن النواس بن سمعان رضي الله عنه قال: سألت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن البر والإثم. He said, Nawas bin Saman said that I asked Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam about virtue and sin. He said, I want to know the difference, basically the exact difference between the virtue and sin. What leads to the virtue? What leads to the sin? Could be what is the best virtue to achieve? What is the worst sin to achieve? All these things could be actually understood from this question. So the man was asking radiallahu ta'ala anhu about what is the best thing, what is good things, what are these good things, and what is the sin? فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم البر حسن الخلق. He summarized everything for him. He says, don't look for too many things. البر حسن الخلق. He said صلى الله عليه وسلم, virtue is noble behavior. If you look into the meaning of real virtue, البر, الإحسان, then just look for the noble behavior. Because if you have a good character, guess what? You could do great things with people, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with yourself, with your spouse, with everybody from around you. No wonder the Prophet ﷺ, when he addressed parents or fathers in particular in regard to proposals they received from people for their daughters, what did he say? قال إذا جاءكم من ترضون دينه وخلقه فزوجوه. If someone comes to you and you're satisfied with their deen and their akhlaq, then accept them. So he mentioned these two qualities. He didn't mention anything besides that, because he says if this person possesses a good khuluq, then he is going to be the best person to treat your daughter. Even Al-Hasan radiallahu ta'ala anhu once was asked to confirm this meaning of akhlaq and manners, taqwa. He said, he was asked, who is the best person that I should really accept or give my daughter to? He says, وَجْهَ مَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ فِيهَا. You give her to the one who fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in regard of treating her. قال فإنه إن أحبها أكرمها وإن كرهها لم يظلمها. Because this person, if this person loves her, he will be so generous with her. And if he didn't love her, if he didn't like her, he will never oppress her. He might not be the best person, but he's not going to be worst person either. So eventually, these are the qualities are very, very important. And the Prophet ﷺ summarizing the meaning of al-birr, all this, the meaning of good deeds, by just doing al-akhlaq and the noble character. Another hadith that we're going to see inshallah later, the Prophet ﷺ, even he made those who are going to be closer to him in Jannah are those who have the best akhlaq and best manners. Then when he answered in regard to the ithm, sin, قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, he didn't give him any particular sin. He didn't say this is a sin, drinking alcohol is sin, committing zina is sin, or doing such and such a sin. He didn't say that sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He gave him principle. Just like he answered the first one with a principle, good behavior is the best birr, he's now answering the meaning of sin with also another principle. What could be the principle that if you apply to your life, you would recognize if you're doing right or wrong? He said صلى الله عليه وسلم, قال والإثم ما حاك في نفسك وكرهت أن يطلع عليه الناس. ما حاك في نفسك وكرهت أن يطلع عليه الناس. He said صلى الله عليه وسلم, and sin is that which creates doubt and you do not like people to know about it. Something in your heart that is scratching. It always scratches your heart. He said, I don't know if I did that right or wrong. I'm not sure if I'm going to be happy with that or not. And if you did something, you won't really want people to see you doing it, right? Specifically, if you think that you're among the people known to be otherwise, you will hate people to see you in this position. So eventually, you have been given the criteria or the filter for which you could recognize right from wrong. At least the basic, not necessarily the doubtful, the most doubtful meanings, but the basics. You can tell if you're doing right or wrong. If you say something wrong, even if you try to justify it, even if you try to make it nice, regardless how many excuses you throw in, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about you, بَلِ الْإِنسَانُ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ بَصِيرًا وَلَوْ أَلْقَى مَعَاذِيرًا. That every single insan is عَلى نَفْسِهِ بَصِيرًا, means you know yourself best. Even وَلَوْ أَلْقَى مَعَاذِيرًا, even if you throw all these excuses. You know if you're telling the truth or not. So that's exactly the meaning of these words. مَا حَاكَ فِي نَفْسِكَ, something that scratches your heart. وَكَرِهْتَ أَنْ يَطَّلِعَ عَلَيْهِ النَّاسِ, and you don't like people to see that. because you're so ashamed of that action. So this is just like a criteria. The Prophet ﷺ has given you principles by which you can recognize right from wrong so that you could make the right decision, inshaAllah tabaraka wa ta'ala. So from this hadith we learn that husn al-khuluq, good character or noble character, we see it's summarizing all the meaning of good deeds. So the best among those who do good deeds are those who have the best character and akhlaq. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ja'alna minhum. Wallahu a'lam. Any question, Jama'ah? Yes.
Out of the subject, Sheikh, music, is it haram?
Ya salam. You're bringing me lectures, mashallah, all the time. Jazakallah khair.
And what type of music? Because some people say certain types are, certain types aren't.
If we discuss the questions about music, if it's halal or haram, I mean, if you check our classical books of fiqh and kutub of akhlaq of our ulama and scholars, they always associate music with sin.
Okay.
Always. And they always associate music with wrong practices. And you yourself tell me, look around you, and you can judge. How is music always associated with sin, subhanAllah? It seems to be very common among particular crowd. It wasn't until recently when this has become more common among some of the religious crowd, and they try to kind of, justify it in a certain way. So from the classical point of view, yes, the ulama, the vast majority of Muslim scholars, they say that music is considered haram, regardless of the kind of music.
Whether it's symphony or, dance
it
music.
It doesn't matter. Music as instruments, that's what they say. Okay. And they have evidences for that. One of these evidences from the Quran, in Surah Luqman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَا يَشْتَرِي لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. Among those people who يَشْتَرُونَ لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ, they buy لَهْوَ الْحَدِيث, the vain talk. And the vain talk here, the ulama and the majority of the Mufassirin, not even unanimous agreement, they say this is al-ghina, meaning singing. And usually when it comes to singing, they mean by that actually the instruments and music. Also there is hadith Ammar ibn Hisham in Sahih al-Bukhari, وإن كان معلقا وصله بعض العلماء في كتب أخرى It's a hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says some of the signs of the day of judgment. لا تقوم الساعة حتى يكون في أمتي ما يستحلون. So the day of judgment will not be established until some people in my ummah shall make halal. He says they will make halal. He mentioned three criteria. يستحل الحرى والحرير والخمر والمعازف. 4 things. الحرى والحرير. الحرى means الزنا, means fornication and adultery. والحرير, silk, men wearing silk. والخمر, wine. والمعازف, instruments. So from these they say that if the Prophet says they will make them halal, so what will be the default ruling? It should be haram. Now there are some fuqaha, even from the classical era, some of the fuqaha, like Ibn Hazm rahimahullah ta'ala, Imam Ahad Amma in Medina, he said that music is considered permissible. And they had their own interpretation, but it's a minority opinion, and unfortunately it has they're always focused on this opinion as a minority opinion, and they're not using them as the evidence as much using the khilaf, the disagreement among the ulama to justify the use of music. So they admit, there is a khilaf among the ulama, it's a minority, but at least since there's khilaf, for them that's their perception. If there's khilaf, then it's okay, until we agree on it. And that's a very wrong approach when it comes to the subject of doubtful matter. The minimum you could say as a doubtful matter, stay away from it.
Unfortunately, when you get into an argument within the Muslim community, a lot of people, like I was in an argument with a person yesterday about this, and I told him music is haram. He goes, bring me a hadith or an ayah that actually says it is haram. I told him, I'm not a sheikh, I can't bring you the hadith or the ayah.
Was he a sheikh?
No, he's not, he's a Muslim.
I know, but was he a sheikh?
No, he's not, but he wants the confirmation with a hadith or an ayah.
There is a lot. علماء من قديم الزمان يكتبون في المسألة. Our great scholars, they wrote on the subject in volumes. حتى ابن القيم رحمه الله تعالى في كتاب إغاثة اللهفان مصائد الشيطان. He made few chapters, the end of his book, about the subject. Ibn Rajab رحمه الله تعالى had a whole book on السماع, which means music and singing. Ibn Taymiyyah رحمة الله تعالى عليه. Ibn Qayyim وغيره من العلماء. There are many ulama that wrote on the subject of this issue. It wasn't until recently when some of the ulama, contemporary scholars, who brought this issue up, as kind of, under pressure. I would consider this under pressure, meaning you see the culture right now. So they want to make things easy for people. And their philosophy is that if there are two things, always choose the easiest. But their interpretation of easiest is not necessarily the usuli interpretation of easiest. And there's a difference between saying the theoretical aspect of easiest than the pragmatic aspect of easiest. They seem to be confusing the usuli principle or aspect of easiest with the pragmatic. So they're taking the pragmatic as, the interpretation of, this is the situation we are in. We cannot tell everybody it's haram. I would still say it's haram. Can I prevent people from listening to it? I cannot. But I don't want anyone, when they do that they just feel that,
It's okay.
and it's okay in that sense. Okay, what about all the cartoon, all the movies, all the stuff and so on? There's a difference between sama' and istima'. Istima' when you solicit listening. As-sama' when you walk, for example, in a hotel, and there's a music playing, let's say, in the lobby. You're not focusing, you're not listening. You're shopping in a grocery store, they're playing music, for example. You're not listening. This is not istima', this is called sama' in the Arabic language. As-sama' ma'foon an. Yani it's pardon. But al-istima', which is to pay attention to that, that's what makes it actually different. Wallahu a'lam.
Sheikh, what about poetry?
There's nothing wrong with it. And nasheed, chanting, singing beautiful voices without instrument, that's halal. Absolutely halal. I do that. You want to listen to me? No.
The dove is actually...
A dove, yeah, the only instrument, not string instrument, instruments such as a dove, which is that they call it a tambourine, but without these, the metal object that comes with it. And some even they allowed a little bit, some sort of drums, because they were mentioned in some of the books of fiqh as well. But to make it more than that, it becomes like pianos and all these things and so on. I know, living in the 21st century, for many people, this is art. And for them, you're trying to bring us all the way back to the Stone Age. Wallahi, I don't see really that, I don't see the good effect of it on the society as much as I see the damage that it's causing. So therefore, if anyone would ever listen to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and beautiful chanting of poetry of nasheed and so on, there's nothing wrong with that. Listen to nasheed as much as you want. It's halal, which is the poetry you're talking about.
Because some of the Sufis, they spread Islam with their poetry, basically.
There is nothing wrong with poetry. Beautiful chanting of this beautiful poetry, as long as the language and the content of it is halal. But the song, or actually the music, it's the instrument that is under discussion over here.
It's the same poetry when you start singing with the instrument, it turns into a song.
You're right. But then when you don't use the instrument, you're still chanting poetry. Wallahu a'lam.
The direction of the nasheed nowadays is going to
the direction of the nasheed is heading towards the same direction of the music. And sometimes you listen to some of these nasheed, there is no difference.
So how about like wedding nasheed for ladies?
Nasheed, I don't think that women, they need any nasheed for them. They can do their own nasheed. Really. But I think the new generation these days, women in weddings, the new generation, they don't know these folklore songs and the nice, beautiful, chantings and so forth. So they just become completely dependent on their iPhones and iPad and iPods and all the stuff and so on. That's why they need some music to play. Allah musta'an. Now, yes.
Have the ulama commented anything about people who use their voice to sound like an instrument? Like, they say no instruments, but the person's voice sounds like an instrument.
Yeah, using their vocal cords to create instrument sounds or sounds. Honestly, it's an interesting phenomenon. Let me say it this way. And I haven't read a thorough research on the subject until now. Allahu a'lam. But I think it will cause the same problem because again, it's not about the piece that is used as much as the effect that comes. Wallahu a'lam. See, I told you about the music. Yeah. Same thing. They're all the same thing. They take the same rule. Wallahu a'lam. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك